Now, in this video, we are going to enable the edit button. When a user clicks the edit button, they need to be directed to the update page with a selected ID, okay? And then in the update page, we are going to display the content of the specified user on the update input field. So that is what we are going to achieve in this video. So without wasting time, let's go to our project and always make sure that your servers are always running, the Apache server and the MySQL for database. Okay, now this is our front end. Our project is on and active, and then our backend as well it is running. Okay, now what we are going to start with, we are going to remember that there is edit button right here and there is a delete button right here, but on this video we're going to focus on edit button. Okay, so let us view our project first before we do anything. Now you can see the edit buttons right here, they're not working. That is what we're going to implement. Whenever we click this edit button, we need to be directed to a different page, which is the update page, where we will find this information already filled, just ready for us to edit them. So for achieving that, we are going back to our code, and then we are going to the router file so that we may configure the path that directs us to the update page. Okay, so this is the configuration path, the update. Okay, so for us to access this page, we need to access it by the help of ID. So we are going to add a parameter ID as a placeholder. This is just a placeholder. So we are going to assign an ID here so that we can visit that particular page. So we can save on that. And then we are going to go to the home page, and we are going to update that edit button. Okay, so this is just a button. We want to make it, convert it to a link, and then we can use to navigate via the URL link, okay, that we have just created on the router. So instead of a button, we are going to Control D and then edit this button to router link. Router link. Router link like that. Okay. And then we are going to give it a path that it will have to follow. So we are going to bind that with the directive 2. And then we are going to give it the path that we want to navigate to it whenever we click that edit button of that specific user. So we are going to use a backtick, and inside the backtick is where we're going to write our path. So it is updates. We can check from here. It is updates. We can copy from this opening slash / up to this / then we can insert a placeholder. We can copy that and then we can paste it there, and then we are going to fetch the ID of that particular user. So you can already see that we are inside the loop of the detail. Okay, we are inside the loop of these details. So all the details are being looped through repeatedly here. Okay, so we are going to select as well detail dot for this case is ID. We want to fetch the ID and then use it to navigate to a different page. Okay, so detail.id. Okay, so I think that's correct. So we are going to save on that. Okay, we're going to save on that like that, and then you're going to see how our button is responding from the project. Okay, let us see if it is working. So let us click edit button of any user. Let's say user 2. Now you can see it is directing us to the update page. That's perfect, but there is a problem. We need to get the ID, not this encoded version. So I think we have to fix something's not right. So yeah, we need to include a $, shift, and then number 4, so that it may capture the detail, okay, of this loop, then the ID of that specific user. So let us save. Let us go back, refresh the page. Okay, now let's click the user number 2 again. Perfect. You can see on the URL closely, you can see there is number 2 right there. That's the user's ID. So it is working. So perfect. It is directing us to this page, okay, with the ID of the user. But there is something very important that it is remaining. Whenever we visit a specific user's update page, we need to get the informations already filled. Okay, that's right. So that's what we're going to implement. So we are going to go inside the update page, and then we are going to grab that ID and save it on a variable. So we are going to create a variable. We can name it route. So const route is going to be equal to a view method, which is known as use route. So we're going to make sure it has been imported right there, and that's a method. So brackets. Okay, so we're going to use this on the update page so that we may grab the ID and save it inside this route. So to be precise, we are going to grab the user ID. We can just name it ID. Const ID is going to be from the route that we have just defined. So it is going to be route dot params dot ID. Okay, so we have just grabbed the ID from the URL, and then we have saved it inside our variable. Okay, so right now we have the ID, so we can use it. So whenever we visit this page, we need always to fetch and the data from the database of that specific user. So the backend will just do it. Will just do the work, because we already created a method, a function that shows, okay, the details of the user from the backend with the specified ID. So we are going to create a method that will always fetch that data whenever the page is loaded. So for that case, we are going to use onMounted method. And then from inside, we are going to define the arrow function. Okay. And then this is going to be async, of course, async function like that. Then inside it, we have to handle the errors. So we have to use try and catch block like that. Okay. So we are going to handle the error first. So console.log then error dot response that you're going to define. Okay, response. And then from the try block, we are going to define the variable const to declare this variable. So response is going to be equal to await dot access client for getting the request from the backend. And for this case, we are going to use get method. Okay. Now we are going to follow the URL. So we are going to use a backtick because we have to grab the ID. Okay. So that we may get we have to use the ID so that we may get the details of that specific user. So we are going to use /API, of course, then details, and then now that's where when we are going to grab the ID inside ID. Okay. Yeah. So we are going to console the response. So console.log the response. So response.data and see what are we getting from the backend. Let's see. So whenever we are in this page, let us inspect the console, and you can see very well we are receiving an object. Okay. So .data, it gives us this object of config data headers request. Okay. So we have to get .data, then .data, so that we can get the exact. Okay. Yeah. So I think we are not getting the exact data that we need. .data status 500. So 500 status means internal server error. What might be the problem? Let me check. Message too few arguments to function. Controllers. Details show. Okay. One passed in. So let us check the controller, the details controller. We see what's not happening, and then we can try. So inside the backend, inside the app, then inside the controllers, detail controller, and we are calling the show method. Here it is. You can see we have two arguments. There is an ID and there is details. And I think we don't use this detail argument parameter, so we are going to clear it. save, and then we are going to try and see what's happening. So let's refresh. Perfect. Now you can see whenever the page is loaded, we can get the user information right here. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we are expecting. Okay. Yep. So we are going to grab this information and save it inside a variable so that we may display them on the input field. Okay. So now we have the data, as you can see here, from response.data.data. So we are going to introduce our new variable. So we can create a variables. We can name it const. Let's say details, user details. Then it's going to be equal to, it is an object. You can see it is an object. Inside there is ID, name. Okay. So it is going to be an object. So ref, and then inside it we have to expect objects, an object. Okay. So we can just define them and leave them empty. So we're expecting inside there is a name. Okay. There is phone. There is email, soft name, email. Then you can place a comma. Then after phone, a comma. I think there is as well the address. Address is right there. So finally the address. Address like that. I think that's okay. So we are going to attach this. Okay. First, we are going to assign the data that we are fetching to these user details. Then we are going to attach them using the vModel to the input fields. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to assign the user details with value, which is going to be equal to this response that we are getting from the backend. So I'm going to copy that then like that. Okay. So now we are having the user information saved inside the user details. So straight we are going to attach them to this form. Okay. Now inside the name input, we are going to attach it with the vModel, and then user details dot name. Next is the email. Email inside the input vModel, then the email user details dot email, then the address vModel user details dot address. Okay. Now the phone inputs vModel user details dot phone like that. Okay. Now we can check if our user details are being fetched and displayed. That's perfect. You can see there is username, the email right there, the address right there. Sorry, we have not implemented that. We have not implemented the update button. So yeah, let's go back and try to check. I hope my front end is running still. Yep. So whenever we go back to the add contact, the homepage, we try to visit user number 4. You can see user number 4 is right there, but it's not fetching. What's the problem? Let me check. I think it's just okay. We just have to refresh the page. Let's go back to the contacts. Let's click user number 4. Let me refresh again. Let's go to the user number 4, edit. Yeah, it is perfect. So that's it for this video. And for the next video, we are going to implement this update user button. Okay, this update user button. And then when we submitting this edited, if we edit, then we submit the updates user. We should submit, then we should get a success message right here. And then when we go back to the contact, we will find the edited user has been edited. So stay tuned.